Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an ultimate soft glam. I know you see so many YouTube 2026 soft glams, but here is mine. After you see this one, this is the only one you'll ever need. I'm giving you a breakdown of all the products I use. I am going step by step on how I get my flawless soft glam routine. I'm going over the order I go in. So with that being said, let's get started. Now I know a lot of routines lately have been prioritizing, or the order has been face first and then eyes. However, you guys, I work faster and better when I do eyes and brows first and then my face. So that is just how I do it. It is preference up to you. Different things work for different people. This is what works for me. So with that being said, step number one is our brow. If you watch my previous videos, you guys know I am loyal to my brow pencil. This is the Morphe brow definer pencil, and I use the shade Java. I think they have 5 different shades, but Java is what I use that's closest to my brow hair color. So we're gonna go in with this. Okay, so once our brows are concealed, we are going to buff that concealer in. I'm using my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush, and I'm just going to bat that concealer, just tapping motions right into the skin. Alright guys, and just like that, brows are done. We are moving on to the next step. Next step is what goes on our eyelids. I am doing, for my soft glam looks, daily soft glam looks, I usually just do a bronze eye. So I will conceal my eyelid, put some powder on, and then cover it with bronzer. However, you can go in with eyeshadow. I've got out of the habit of doing eyeshadow, to be honest with you guys, but I really want to get back to it. But today I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm just taking some concealer, that same dark shade we use, and I'm going to place a little bit, just a tiny bit, on my eyelid. So once I have that on, I'm just going to bat that in. You guys, I'm going to pat that in with just a little mini brush. Doesn't have to be a specific brush. You can use your beauty blender if you want to. And I'm just going to tap that into our eyelid. Okay, so once we have that concealer patted in, we are just going to set it with some translucent powder. I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent honey powder, and that is just going to lock the concealer in place. It makes the eyeshadow blend more seamlessly into the skin. I like the way it looks. I've tried it without doing it with the powder. It looks so much more seamless, you guys, if you just put just a tiny bit. So I'm taking a blending brush. Doesn't have to be a specific brush. Taking a little bit of this powder and just dabbing it on my eye to set that concealer right in place. Okay, so once we have our eyelids set, we're gonna go in. You can go in with whatever bronzer you're using on your face that day. This is for my girls who don't want to do any eyeshadow, just want a quick little eye. I'm taking my favorite bronzer. This is the Morphe Phenom bronzer. I don't know if they still sell this, but it is the perfect warm tone. So I'm taking this just on a blending brush, light motions when you do this. And you don't have to use a lot of this. You just kind of want to wash the color on the lids. That way if you put makeup on, your eyelids just not sitting there looking blank with no makeup on. That would look weird. So we have to put something there. And sometimes you don't have that time to do eyeshadow, you know. So this is what I do. With circular motions, and you just kind of start right in the front and just blend it out. Okay, once you kind of have that in the crease, you're just gonna take some of that bronzer, tap off the excess, and just tap on the eyelid. So we can just cover that whole eyelid with bronzer. Okay, and you see the difference this side to this side. It's going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, guys, so next, a step that I would do just to make sure this bronzer isn't too harsh is I'll go in with a softer brown, like a lighter brown than what my bronzer was. I'm using a Dose of Colors Big Browns palette, and I'm gonna take this lighter brown here and just dust this around that shade just so it blends seamlessly into the skin. So I'm gonna take this lighter shade and just kind of dust this like on the outer part of our crease, just to make sure everything blends seamlessly. Next step is just to take a liner of your choice, and we're just doing one little line right across our lash line, just to kind of hide the lashes a little bit. And then if you watch my previous videos, I love eyeliner. This is what I do every day, even if I'm not putting on makeup. So I'm taking my Sephora Hope liner. You can get this from Sephora for $12. It is the best liner in my opinion. It is black, it stays on all day, and it is a matte black. So we're taking this and just doing one straight line right across our lash line. Moving right along, I'm just gonna coat my lashes with my Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. I love this mascara. You can get it for $11. And you guys, this mascara, in my opinion, is a lot better than some of them high-end mascaras. So just keep that in mind. So we're taking this and just doing a light coat just to prep for our false lashes, because we will be going in with false lashes. All right, guys, so for lashes, I'm going in with the lashes I've been wearing all week. These are the Faux Mink Light Eyelure London lashes in the shade, the style Lavish. To me, this is the perfect lash for every day. And I'll show you guys how I apply my false lashes. Actually, I might save that for another video. Yeah, we'll save that for another video. I'm gonna just apply these. And we are done with the eyes, guys. We're moving right on along. I thought this video was gonna be so long because my last one was so long, and I'm trying to be more simple and straight to the point. So. All right, guys, so that is it with the eyes. Let's move on to the face. Okay, face. First thing you wanna make sure, as I've said before, your face is clean, moisturized. What I'm going to do, I have dry skin. So I always double moisturize. For all my dry girls, that is an option. You can double moisturize. I already went in with my Pond's already. I think I am going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream to further moisturize my skin. If you are oily, you can definitely skip this step. If you are oily though, you do still need to moisturize your skin. No, I mean, just hands down, you have to. It makes the makeup look smooth. That is not optional, okay? And there are different moisturizers you can use. Being an oily girl, there are water-based moisturizers that you can use. I would tend to do something like that if I had oily skin. If you have drier skin, you probably want to go with something that has hyaluronic acid in it. I'm taking the Charlotte Magic Cream. And baby, this stuff is expensive, so we're going to use as little as possible. A little goes a long way, and we are going to stretch this because I paid, this is the small size, guys. I think this is 0.5 ounces. I paid $40 for just this little can. It's great moisturizer though, great moisturizer, just, yeah, pricey. So what I do is I take some, and we're just going to go in the areas. I usually just moisturize in my T-zone. We're just gonna rub this in. You can use a brush to rub your moisturizer in. I personally like to use my hands because my hands warm up the product. It gets it more thoroughly into the skin. So I prefer to use my hand. Okay, now that my skin is moisturized, we're moving right on to primer. For primer today, I'm using my OG. My OG fave is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I love this stuff. It literally glues the makeup to your face. I'm sorry, I was trying to think of the right word. But it makes your makeup stay all day. I love this stuff. So with our primer, we just want to take this and put this in the areas of our T-zone. I'm going to just put something here some here. And with this, I don't want to rub it in. I kind of just want to pat it into the skin. If you rub this into the skin, it kind of leaves a white cast, so you really just want to kind of smooth it in. All right, guys, next step is our foundation. For foundation, I'm using my holy grail, which is the Patrick Ta Luminous Major Skin Hydra Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. I am in the shade 20 Golden. You guys, I love this stuff. It comes on so luminous and it just makes your skin look so pretty. Like, I can't even explain. This shade, before you guys say anything, is a little bit yellow, but I balanced that out with my concealer and my contour. So don't be saying just wait. So what I usually do with my foundation, guys, how I apply mine is I'll put some on the back of my hand. I'll squirt some out. You don't need a lot of foundation. That's what I do this for, to make sure I'm not using too much. So you want to squirt just a little bit out. I just use a couple of pumps. I'm gonna take my concealer brush, the same brush I use to conceal my brows, and I'm gonna tap into that foundation and just apply it with my concealer brush. And I'll just kind of do a couple swatches. And I go portion by portion for my face. So I'll do the left side, blend that in, do the right side, blend that in, forehead in the middle, blend it in. That way I don't get confused or I reapply things in the same area I already applied something. So that's how it makes me stay organized. In our foundation out, we are using my Real Techniques Instapop cheek brush, using patting motions. Oops. To pat this foundation in. So just taking that and patting that in. And I usually spread my foundation out on the whole side of the face, because a little of this goes a long way. So guys, I'm just going to do that other side, same steps. I'm just applying with that concealer brush on the other side of my face, and then we're going to blend it out. So I'm just doing a couple swatches. If you have texture skin and you need more coverage, feel free to go on with another layer. And guys, be real thorough when you're doing this. Take your time. You don't want to rush this step. So kind of start, actually I start kind of on the bottom of my face and work my way up. And you just want to take your time and blend. Make sure you are getting everything thoroughly. You're covering every spot of your face. So last part of the face, I'm just kind of going on the forehead and the middle of my face. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those swatches, some on my nose, upper lip, down on my chin. And it's up to you. I'll show you guys that later. So once, let me tap this in. So we're just gonna tap that foundation in as well. Same process. Take your time, take your time. Okay, so for my forehead, what I usually do, some days if I'm feeling it, I will conceal the top of my brows with my foundation, and that kind of takes care of the foundation on the forehead. Some days I don't. Today, I think I am going to go in and I'm gonna take another pump of my concealer. I'm gonna take that foundation brush and I'm just going to carve out the top of my brows. And the reason why I do it with foundation is because it'll blend into my skin better rather than if I use a concealer. So you can always use a darker concealer if that's what you want. Some people like the texture of concealer rather than foundation. Me, I rather do it with foundation. So, you know, it's no rules in makeup, you guys. That's what makes makeup fun. It's just how you like your makeup to look. So I'm going to grab that. I took some foundation. I'm just going to curve the top of my brows. So once I have that concealer on, I'm taking that same buffer brush we used for the bottom of our brows to blend out that concealer. I'm gonna take that and blend out the top. And the reason I use this is because if I use a brush too big, it'll, you know, dip into the brows and mess them up. So I'm taking that and just buffing that foundation into the skin. Okay guys, so what I did is put a little bit more foundation on my forehead. What I'm gonna do before I move on to the next step, very important that you do, we're gonna go in with that same brush that we've used to blend our foundation and just kind of make sure everything is blended again. The key to a flawless soft glam is to make sure you blend. That is the only way it's gonna come out flawless. Okay, so I'm taking that brush with no extra product and just going over my complexion one more time. Okay, so next step, you guys, is our concealer. And concealer is my favorite part of the makeup process. So what we are going to do is double conceal. I go in with the dark concealer first, and then I will go in with the lighter concealer on top of that. So concealer that we're going in first with is the Juvia's Place number 9 concealer, and I usually do this just to kind of lift. You don't want to just put such a light concealer on first, because then it'll look weird. So you kind of, especially if you're dark skinned, you have to kind of go in layers a little bit. So I use a lighter concealer, maybe one shade lighter than me, to conceal, and I will use a lighter concealer to brighten, if that makes sense. So we're taking that first concealer, and I'm taking my concealer brush. That's why I love my handy dandy concealer brush. I use it for everything. But we're taking that on that brush, and we're just going to put a little bit of that concealer right under our eyes to conceal. And I kind of just put, so go down and out just a little bit, and maybe a little bit at the end. Down. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on the end here. So what I'm doing now is taking my concealer brush. You guys, I would say out of all brushes, you need this brush. This is the Real Techniques. I know you've seen this brush before. This is the Real Techniques setting brush. I would say get a couple of these, because this is the best concealer brush that you can use. It really gets into those creases and crevices. It really works. It's only $7. You can get this at any Ulta or drugstore. But I'm taking this brush, and we're just going to pat that concealer in where we placed it. So I'm gonna start here on the edge, and I'm just kind of patting, and we're using patting motions to blend that out. Same thing from this side. I'm gonna start at the edge here. You always want to start at the edge blending your concealer. You never want to start in the middle, because that kind of just drags the product out, but you want to start on the edge that's dried down, and you just want to pat. Literally, you guys, makeup is just taking your time. I think that's the thing why people have so much trouble with applying makeup, is because they don't have the patience. You need patience when you do makeup. It is not something you can just boom bam and it looks, you know, it's not gonna look right. But if you put the time in and you blend, it will always look right, most of the time. Okay, so after we have that patted in, we should be looking something like this. Okay, I know I look a little weird, but that's okay. Now we are going to go in with that lighter concealer to brighten. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Tan Deep Sand. And this is just the regular formula. I don't believe this is the creamy formula. I meant to get the creamy formula, but this is what we got. So I'm taking that here. And since this is such a small bottle, I'm just gonna apply it to my face. And I'll show you the placement of where I put my concealer. So with my brightening concealer, I usually go under the eyes. I'll go right, make sure you guys can see. I'll go right under my eye. So down, put a little bit on this edge, put a little bit on my outer edge, bring it out just a little bit here. side down here. We're gonna go on a little bit on our outer edge out here. And kind of bring this little front part out a little bit. Okay. We are gonna put some on our chin here. A little bit on our upper lip. And we are gonna do a little bit down our nose. You could do the forehead, you guys. Lately, I've been I've tried it without putting concealer on my forehead, and I actually like the way it looks. Which is weird because I always put concealer on my forehead, but for this sake of this video, we'll put some on our forehead. So I'm gonna go ahead, apply just kind of a little bit on my forehead, like an oval shape a little bit. So this is my concealer placement, just so you guys can see. Okay guys, so we're gonna blend that brightening concealer out using that same setting brush. And what I usually do, I kind of let my under eyes sit a little bit, and I'll blend out everything else because under your eyes you want the most coverage. So what I'm going to do is blend out my forehead first, and we're just going to do tapping motions. We're going to go down the nose next and just kind of tap that in. And notice I'm not swiping, I'm just tapping. So that is the thing. If you swipe it, it moves the product. You just tap it right in place. That'll give you the most seamless blend. And I'm gonna get the chin. And lastly, after I blended everything out, we're gonna go under our eyes. I'm gonna start at the edge first. So we're gonna tap that edge at the same motions as we just done before. And tap. And the goal is just to tap right in place. I'm gonna move on to that front part and just tap. Okay, another key, you guys, a lot of people miss this, but when you're tapping the concealer under your eye, you want to make sure you bring it up on the nose or tap it out on the nose, because that will leave a harsh line right there. So make sure you tap that out. Other sides, right on the edge first. You see I'm tapping that concealer. Once it dried down, it's easier to tap out, so we're just gonna tap it right on that nose. Okay, so once our concealer is blended out, we should be looking something like this. We still look weird, and that's okay. So what we're gonna do, next step is paramount. We're gonna go back in with that foundation brush, no extra product on it, and we are gonna go around where we put that concealer. So the goal is just to kind of mesh everything together. So I'm taking that, and we're just going over all those areas we use concealer just to kind of bring our color back, because you can look hecka weird once you put concealer on and blend it out. You look ghostly a little bit, but that's okay. It's part of the process. Don't be scared. So we're taking that around the chin. I'm gonna pat around the upper lip. We're gonna pat under that under eye that we put concealer around, and we're not patting on the concealer. It's just kind of the edge where the concealer stops, just to bring everything together. So moving right along, guys, next step is contour. So you have a couple options when it comes to contour. Some people powder contour, some people cream contour, some people do both. I do both. I like the way my makeup looks when I do both. So yes, we are using the Black Opal stick in shade Snatch Sepia for my contour today. And this is just kind of like, I just love this shade on me. They have a lot of different shades. These are perfect if you for cream contour, and they're cheap. So I'll show you guys where I place my contour at. The purpose of contour is to bring back the dimension in your face. Bring those shadows back. Like if you look at our face with no makeup on, we naturally have shadows. When you put foundation on, we are taking all that away. So that's why we add the concealer. That's why we add the contour. So we are bringing those shadows back. I'll show you how I place mine. I usually do my contour in 3 spots. We're gonna go some on the forehead here. I'm just putting little dabs on my forehead. So that we are going to go on our cheekbones. So I go from the tragus of my ear. So I kind of go here, feel for my cheekbone, and I put it right on the bone. So right here, and I kind of go right on my cheekbone, and I kind of stop at the end of my eye. You don't need a lot of this stuff. Same thing here, tragus from the ear, feel my cheekbone, and we're gonna go right there. Okay, to blend my contour out, I'm using a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and this seamlessly blends my contour in. And same thing, we're using the same motion for all of this, patting motions. And I'll show you the direction and what you want to pat in when you are doing your contour. But we're going to start with that forehead, and we're just going to pat this right in to the skin. And what I'm doing, I don't know if you guys can see, but with the contour on my forehead, I'm kind of pushing this back, and that will kind of give me the shadow I want with my forehead. Our goal is to make our forehead look smaller, so you don't want to bring this down, you want to push it back, and that will give you the illusion of a smaller forehead. So you're just going to pat that until those marks are gone. So next we are going to pat our cheekbones in. So what I'm going to do is pat, but you're going to pat going backwards, okay? Kind of lifting that product up, kind of patting a light swipe. So pat, light swiping. This will give the illusion of snatching your face in. You don't want to pat bringing it down, because that's going to make your face look more sunken down. We want a sculpted face, so that's why we are going to pat with a slight swipe, and that will give that illusion of a lifted cheekbone. Okay, we're going to do the same for the other side. So pat, swipe up. Alright guys, so we should be looking something like this once we have our contour on. Okay, so next step, parents, just like we did the concealer, we went back in with our foundation brush. We're done with the contour, so we're going to go back in with that foundation brush. No extra product. We're just going to pat around where we put that contour. So I'm going to go under my cheekbone and kind of bring that color back. And just tapping motions, kind of go on top of that contour. Just to mesh everything together. That is the point of makeup, is to blend. Okay, so next up is our cream blush. And you guys, it took me forever to get on this trend, but now that I'm on this trend, I love this. Okay, I cannot go without cream blush. So for cream blush, we are using the Makeup Forever HD palette. But guys, you can use any cream blush, okay? I got this when it was on sale at Sephora. It has a very pretty cream blush that I love. We're using this shade here, okay? And I'm going to grab a brush. It's kind of like a flat brush, and I'm going to dip into that shade here. Just enough to get some on it. And we are going to place this. I'll show you guys the placement. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see. We are placing this shade right kind of where that concealer and contour meet, kind of up by our the end of our eye is where I like to place my cream blush, and we're just gonna tap that on. And the purpose of cream blush, I used to wonder, like, what is the point of putting on, you know, it's just another step. But this helps your blush stay all day. It really enhances the blush shade. It makes it pop. Like, I can't explain it. You need to do this step. So I'm gonna tap that. and kind of go in again. And it depends too if you're a blush girly or not. Like, I'm a blush girly, but if you're not, you can skip this step. But I will always be wearing me some blush, okay? Okay guys, I've applied that blush on the other side as well, kind of at the side of my eye. So now once we have all our products on, it is time to set. You are doing great. We are almost done. We are basically done. Once you set, add your finishing touches, we are done. Okay, so hang in there. For my beginners, hang in there. You are almost done. To set, we will be taking another Real Technique setting brush. I told you need a couple of these. I'm taking a different one than the one I patted my concealer down with, okay? So you wanna make sure they're two separate brushes. Okay guys, to set our concealer, that's what we're gonna set first, is our highlighted areas. We're gonna use the Huda Beauty setting powder in the shade Blondie. This shade kind of gives a yellow tint, and it is perfect for my skin tone. So for like deep skin tones, kind of like brown to deep skin tones, I would suggest that this powder be used for. But this is what we're using today. I'm going to take my Real Technique setting brush, okay? I'm going to take the other one we used to pat the concealer down and just go over any creases we may have gotten while we're talking and this and that. Like, you always have to go back in with that brush, pat out any creases before you set them, because you don't want to set those creases and then that is how your makeup is looking. So what we're going to do before we set, go in with that brush we use for our concealer and go right under our eyes. Make sure everything is smooth using tapping motions. Okay, so once everything is blended and looking how we like it to look before we set, I'm going to take some powder. I put some powder in that top. You only need a little bit. Let me emphasize that you only need a little bit of setting powder. Do not use a lot because it will make you look cakey. Okay, so I put a little bit of powder in the top. I'm going to take my other setting brush. I'm gonna dip it in the powder. Please always tap off the excess, and we're going to go right under where all of those highlighted areas are. I'm going to start with my under eye. Okay, we got that powder. We tapped off the excess. Go right under where we put that concealer. We're going to look up, right under. Tap in again. Dust off the excess, go right under. And you're gonna place some of this powder over our cream blush that we put down to set it in place as well. So we're gonna do that other side. I'm going to pat to make sure I have no creases. Look up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pat in some of that powder. Dust off the excess, go right under. We're going to place that powder also in our areas that we put the concealer. So that would be under our chin, that would be on our upper lip. Same process, I'm dipping in the powder, tapping it off, going in and setting. And we're gonna go down the nose. What I usually do when I go down my nose is I'll pinch my brush, I'll dip it in the powder, kind of dust it off, and just kind of stamp that powder down the nose where I put that concealer at. And just tap it in. Okay guys, now that we're done setting our highlighted areas, we're gonna go in and set our contour areas. And we're gonna do that with that bronzer that we used on our eye earlier, you remember? So whatever bronzer you use for your eyeshadow, you can use that for your contour. So I'm using that Phenom bronzer. I'm going to take an angled brush, okay? I'm going to tap into that, dust it off, and I'm just gonna put this on the areas where we had put that cream contour, just to kind of set them. When you are doing makeup and you have a cream powder, you have to set it with a powder. So I'm going to lightly put this on where we put that contour. And just patting, kind of little swiping. You don't want to, thing with this is with the bronzer, you don't want to overpower your face, because some people just go ham with the bronzer and it looks horrible. So you want to build this up. So a little bit at a time, just kind of patting right on that cheekbone. On my temple. So tapping in, dusting off the excess, a little bit around my forehead, because we did put contour there too. Okay guys, so next step would be to contour your nose. Some people, they would have went in with the cream on their nose. Me, I like a more subtle contour, so I don't go in with the cream in my nose. I just kind of go in with a powder. So I'm using that same powder bronzer to contour my nose. I'm gonna take an angled brush. This is the Morphe E62, and it is perfect for a nose contour. I don't know if you can see, but it's perfect for a nose contour. And we're just going to go down the sides of our nose. I'm taking as minimal powder as possible, because I do not like a harsh nose contour. To me, it just looks kind of drag queenish. So I try to avoid that as much as possible. So I'm tapping my brush in, tapping off the excess, and just kind of going down my nose here. I actually want you guys to see this, so let me go in. So we'll go right down, just kind of the sides of my nose going up and down. Other side, we're just gonna take that, and I go right from where my eyebrow starts, and kind of where I put the eyeshadow, I kind of go right there and go right down my nose. All right guys, so next step is our finishing touches. I'm gonna go on with some blush. This is the Juvia's Place Volume 2 blush. This kind of complements that blush, the cream blush I put down. So you always want to pick a blush. If it doesn't come in a compact, you always want to pick a blush that complements the cream blush shade that you use. For my beginners, it would be easier for them to get a compact that comes with a cream blush and a powder blush. For example, this one here, this is from Patrick Ta in the shade She's Wanted. So what you could do, it comes with the cream blush and then a powder brush that kind of matches it. I decided not to use this today. I probably should have, but it's okay. I'm taking this Juvia's Place one. This is the same shade as the one I use the Makeup Forever. I'm gonna tap on a blush brush. This is an e.l.f. brush, and I'm going to kind of pat this on my cheekbones. And for blush, you just kind of patting and swiping back into that bronzer. I love blush, babe, so I go ham with the blush. It's up to you. Some people don't like blush at all, so you can skip this. Me, I'm gonna wear me some blush. All right, babe, so that is kind of it for our face products. We're just gonna focus on the finishing touches now. So first finishing touch that I do, some people at this point would bake. I personally don't like to bake anymore because I did it one time and I ended up looking like a ghost. Maybe I used the wrong powder, but for now I have paused on baking. So my finishing touch that I would do, I would grab I'm gonna grab a smudge brush, and I'm going to grab that bronzer we use on our eyelid, and I am going to tight line under my lash line. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of that bronzer right under my lash line, and that kind of gives you a smoky look. You guys, like, this step to me, it is non-optional. You have to do this because it just adds so much to your look. Next step, I'm taking a eyeliner. This is the ColourPop liner in Sunnyvale. It is a dark brown liner, and I'm going right on my waterline with this. So we're gonna take this and go right in our waterline. Like so. And I need a black liner. Honestly, black liner would eat so much better, but I'm out of black liner right now, so I'm using this. Okay, what I'm gonna do next up is our lip combo. So I am taking my Holy Grail lip combo, you guys. I'm taking my Trendsetter lip liner. So we're gonna line our lips with this. Now I kind of start at I always clean my lips off before I start my lip combo. Key point. Because you don't want to be putting a lip liner over foundation on your lips. So always clean your lips off for a clean lip. So we're going to line our lips. Once I have my lip liner on, I kind of just smudge my lips before I go in with my whatever lip I'm gonna do. I always smudge my lips. For lips today, we're going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Pillow Talk liquid lipstick, and I'm putting this right in the center. To help blend my lips better, what I do is I take a small little blending brush, and between that liner and lipstick I just kind of smudge together, and this makes it come and blend together so nicely. Yes, guys, so I'm using my hair store gloss. You can never go wrong with the hair store gloss, okay? And we're topping that lip off with this. I'm just gonna put this on the edges of our lip. And that is our lip combo for today. Super cute. All right, guys, last step. What I'm gonna do, not last step, but we're almost done. Almost done. We are going to set everything that we have done. I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. I've been using this stuff. Usually I go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, but girl, that stuff is expensive. So we got a dupe. This is the e.l.f. setting spray. It's been great. I've been loving this stuff, and it's only $7. I'm just going to do a light mist. When you spray yourself, hold your spray back, and we're just going to spray like a mist. Our finishing touches, finishing up, we are taking that same mascara we used for our top lashes, and we're going to apply that to our bottom lashes. You cannot go without bottom lash line mascara, you guys. You have to, okay? So I'm gonna take this and we're gonna apply this on our bottom lash. All right, guys, the absolute last step, I promise, we are taking our MAC Gold Deposit Highlighter, and I'm just putting this on my nose and just areas that you kind of want to highlight. I know highlighter is kind of like old news. People don't really do it anymore. I still do because I like the way it just gives a nice finished look. So I'm taking this I'm taking the Morphe M532 brush, and I'm going like right on my nose. I'm kind of going down the nose a little bit, and I'll go right under my eyebrow. And there, we are all done. There you have it, guys. This is my updated 2026 soft glam routine. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching. I hope even if you don't do the whole routine, if you learned bits and pieces, that's fine with me. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.